Hands, lightning from my hands, lightning from my hands, lightning from my hands. Hey everybody, Mac here. Welcome back to the show. Welcome back to Bricktober, that best time of year that starts the holidays when we take a look at all things ghosts, goblins, a little bit of undead, a little bit of evil, a little bit of magic. And that's what we have here today, is a little bit of magic with Shazam and Black Adam. Now, both of these figures are exclusives. At least this one is for now. It may change. But this Gold Label Shazam, most of you probably know, is exclusive to Walmart. And this Black Adam with Throne is exclusive to Target. There's a bunch of Target exclusives right now that I don't know if they're going to stay exclusive to Target, but that's where they're at. You have Black Adam with Throne, you have Kyle Rayner with a different uniform and some different constructs, and you have a Wonder Woman from the Frost King Collect to Build wave, and she has some different weapons, an axe and a shield. So I don't really know if I'm going to be getting her just for some different weapons, but I definitely wanted to get that Kyle figure. Definitely wanted to get this version of the hoodless Black Adam because I like that Throne more than I wanted the power effects. Now this over here, Shazam, he is a Target exclusive. Most of you probably know that. Most of you probably know what a bear it has been trying to find this figure. As a matter of fact, I can't find this online. I found this in my Target on the peg, just like I did with Azrael. It was just luck of the draw. There was only 3 left. So sticking to that mantra, if you see one, buy it. If you see 2, leave one for the next collector. I only bought 1. Bonus points if you know where that came from. So what we have here are 2 figures that kind of go together, although one's based on the movie, one's based on the comics. And I really wanted to get my hands on this one because I don't think we're going to be getting another Shazam until maybe the Shazam movie comes out, and we might get a movie accurate version, Shazam 2 that is, and we might get a movie accurate version. Getting comic accurate versions of figures from Todd is a little difficult, so I was really happy to be able to get my hands on this one. This one is more of a curiosity than anything. Mainly I got it for the Throne. If I get the other Black Adam figure, it's just going to be because he'll have the hood on. But I'm more interested in the Justice Society figures from the Black Adam line than I am Black Adam himself. And we'll talk more about why once I get to him. So let's just start with Shazam. Okay, here he is, Shazam. Between me and you, Captain Marvel, out of the box, and putting the tape measure to him, you can see that to the top of his perfectly coiffed hair, he is approximately 7¼ inches tall. Bringing him up closer, we're going to take a look at sculpt, we're going to take a look at paint apps, and we're going to take a look at articulation. But before we do that, let's just get this out of the way that yes, this figure is complete reuse from the Endless Winter Frost King Collect to Build wave of this Black Adam. Everything down to the torso, the fists, the bracelets are the same, the belt is the same, his boots are the same, just the paint apps are different. That you can even see the buckles at the top of the boots weren't painted, they're just left red, whereas Black Adam's were painted gold to match the rest of his boots here. The other thing that is different is the big lightning bolts on their chest. That this was trimmed down a little. It has less of that bib effect that Black Adam's does. It doesn't come up around the neck, whereas Black Adam's does. It's just sort of cut off right there. Also, this lightning bolt is raised, whereas this one is recessed. So there are some differences there, and obviously the head sculpts are different. But other than that, it's basically the same figure, which is both good and bad. Good because I liked this figure to begin with. I like this build. I like this look. I like when heroes like this, even Superman, are more lean and muscular rather than like the big bulk of like Frank Miller's Superman, for example. I really prefer this lean musculature look rather than the bulky look. The downside to it is that when this figure was made, it wasn't made to combat the massive weight that Shazam's cape causes. So even when I was measuring him, you really have to lean him forward. Otherwise, this cape is going to drag him down if you don't want to use the figure stand. So let's put Black Adam aside for now, and let's just take a look at Shazam. And bringing him up closer, the first thing I want to draw attention to is this face sculpt that I love this portrait. I love the look of it. It's very youthful, very innocent, a little bit of playful, a little bit of cocky. I mean, remember, he's basically what, an 8-year-old kid with the powers of a god, literally. And I've always loved this character for that reason. And I think that's one reason why I really love the first movie, because they really captured that kid in a man's body with insane amounts of superpowers and exactly what a kid with an insane amount of superpowers would do. The only issue that I have is the eyes. The eyes are a little close together. They don't quite look crossed, but I don't know. I feel like they could have been moved out a little bit more. But other than that, the paint app, the sculpt, everything about this, right down to his perfectly coiffed hair, this is exactly how I picture Shazam. And I'm glad we finally got this version of it, because up until now, all we had was that King Shazam that I don't even remember where King Shazam came from. Was that part of Dark Knights? Was that part of Metal? I can't remember, but I didn't get it because I didn't care about it. This I care about. This I really like. Now we're going to take a look at our articulation for this figure, and the head will do a full 360, but you'll also notice that it's turning at this neck, at the neck joint at the bottom, that the head isn't just turning, the whole neck is turning. And you can't really get the head to move on its own because it's limited by by Shazam's big strong jawline. So the whole neck has to move when you turn his head. He can't really look up either, which is a bummer for a flying character, nor can he look down. There's some tilt side to side, but his head movement is really, really limited. Now we come to the arms, and the arms will do a full 360, but because this big Horkin cape gets in the way, you do have to splay them out as they come back around, at least on this side. On his right, it's a little bit more reasonable. He has that same butterfly joint like what Black Adam had, with some really good travel in there. He has bicep swivel. He has double jointed elbows He has double jointed elbows that have some really decent travel right there. And then he has the swivel, hinge, and swivel so that they can go up and down and they can go in and out. Now, also, like the Black Adam figure, he has this ab cut right in here that he can't really crunch on it. There's not a whole lot forward. There's more back than anything else, which will help with flight. He can get some side to side going, and he can also pivot really well at that joint. But then down here, he has a ball joint, which I'm sure you've noticed because it's kind of popping out of his belt, that he can get more crunch forward. He can really get some crunch back, but you start to see gapping. Side to side is fantastic, and he can turn there as well. Coming down to the legs, he does not have a very good thigh movement. His legs will turn in, but they won't turn in without pushing back, and they can't turn out. So that's as far as you're going to get his legs to come out. They will come forward to right about there, but if you turn them, you can get a higher kick out of him and come up to 90. Okay. Now, he also has, once again, as McFarlane is fond of doing, this rubber piece right in here in the crotch that will move with the leg. You can see how it's just sort of forming to the leg, but you do have to watch that you don't put him in a pose for too long because that might start to deform. Legs will come just out to there, not even reaching up to 90. Double jointed knees with some really good travel to them. No boot cut, but the ankles rock back, the ankles rock forward. Toe articulation, and there is some ankle rock in there, but because of the way the boots are molded, these side pieces sort of get in the way. One thing that I almost forgot to look at is this gorgeous cape. Now, there's a lot of times I can do without the flow of a cape, that I would rather a cape just hung straight down. But I don't know what it is with McFarlane's figures, especially the Multiverse line, that for some reason the flow of the cape does not bother me. And I'm, other than maybe some of the Batgirls that have like a really flared out cape. But I don't know. With this, I think it looks very dramatic, just like Superman's, just like Batman's, and I really like it. And I really like how they went with the double layered cape right here. I kind of wish that this, because you can sort of see the stitching line in here. I wish this embroidery had been painted gold, kind of like it is in some of the comics. And I also like his hood hanging right here. That for as good as this is, man, I almost wish we would have had a secondary head or at least a head accessory that we could have put the hood up on him. But I'm wondering if we get a movie figure when the second movie comes out, if it won't be like how Black Adam is now, that there will be one figure with a hood up, one figure with a hood down. Because I only think in the movie he only used the hood once, and that was after he first transformed and was sneaking around the house. I'm not really sure, but I really, really like the look and the stark whiteness and the color of this, just this cape in general. I really like that. It is kind of a bear, though, because like I said, if you just try and stand him up, it's going to weigh him down. That if you're not using the figure stand, you really have to lean him forward to get him balanced. Now, coming out of the box, Shazam comes with a pair of clenched fists, and he has these splayed out hands, which can be used for, I don't know, throwing lightning at somebody. But is it just me, or do these look really, really big compared to the figure? For accessories, he comes with the same ones that the Endless Winter Black Adam came with, and that is these lightning effects that'll fit on his wrists, made out of this translucent, icy blue plastic. They do the job. They look good. I kind of like them better than Marvel's ones where you just sort of snap it around the wrist. But this will do a good job, that you basically just, you take your figure, you take his fist, and you just sort of thread it on there, like so. And there you go. You got Shazam powering up his fist or getting ready to shoot some lightning. Like all DC Multiverse figures, Shazam comes with a figure stand, a simple black one with the DC logo tampoed on the front. And he comes with a collectible figure card, and I love that he's just hanging out, eating a brown bagged lunch, and the lunch bag just says Billy on it. I love this look. I love this picture. This whole thing right here sums up Shazam. And then on the back, we have his bio. Okay, up next we're going to take a look at Black Adam, and I realized between figures that I completely forgot to take a look at the Shazam box, so we're going to take a look at the Black Adam box right now. That we have our standard DC Multiverse McFarlane fair going on. Plain black box, big window so you can see what's inside. Has the Black Adam logo tampoed on the bottom because it's part of the Black Adam line. Up top, just more window, the Black Adam logo. On the side, more window, Black Adam with throne. And then over here, Black Adam with throne, Black Adam movie. And then on the back, we have this great animated shot of the Rock Black Adam in action. And this is what I'm saying with, like, see how the build, even how they drew him, he looks in this pose anyway, a little more lean than what The Rock actually is, especially when you compare him to the figure that we're about to take a look at. But this is like corporation era Rock right here, not movie era Rock. And I like that better. I have to say, I like that better. I like that lean look better. And then just because we missed it, here is also the back of the Shazam box. And you can see that this is basically the same picture that was on the collectible card. And I like that McFarlane is doing this, that there's no cross-sell along the bottom anymore, because there's really not stuff coming out in a wave unless it's a Build-A-Figure wave. But I like that he's just going full-on graphic on the back of the box. Almost makes you want to cut the backs of the boxes off and keep the artwork for something. But once again, just love that with Billy right there. So let's get Black Adam out of the box and take a look at him. Okay, here he is, our movie version of Black Adam out of the box, and putting the tape measure to him, we can see that he also is approximately 7¼ inches to the top of his shaved dome. Now, getting a closer look at him, we're going to take a look at sculpt, we're going to take a look at paint apps, we're going to take a look at articulation. And as far as I can figure, because I don't have either of the other two movie versions of Black Adam, I'm guessing this is basically the same body design that the other two figures have. The other one having the unadorned head, and I think he has different hands and lightning effects. And then the third variant has the hood, and I think that's the only difference. I don't know. I don't have them yet. If anything, I'm going to get that hooded version, but I'm probably not going to get the other standard version of this. But like I said, I'm more into the Justice Society figures from this line than I am the actual Black Adam figure. But getting a better look at him, I do have to say that the sculpt and the detail work on this guy is fantastic. Right down to the rope around the arm. I don't even think that's rope. I think that might be like a torque or something around his arm. The detail on the bracers right here, the aging, the staining and the weathering, the crossed belts look great. You have this sort of sinewy look to the uniform, to his outfit right here, and down in the biceps. On the back, we have some texturing. Don't know if that's a McFarlane touch or if it's actually going to do that. Really like the detail work on the back here. Once again, those belts carry around to the back. Always like when they put paint apps and put as much time to the back of the figure as they do to the front of the figure. The legs are fairly featureless, just having this textured look, almost, I don't know, almost Geiger-esque xenomorph type. And then the boots, the shin guards down here really impress me, and I really find this interesting, that these are aged and weathered just like the gauntlets, or just like the bracers, just like the belts, but they're darker. They're darker metal, and they look pitted, and they look used, and they look worn, and they look like they've seen some stuff. And I really like that. I think they did a really good job on the texturing, on the sculpt, on the paint apps of this. And I like this lightning bolt too, how they got rid of that bibbed look for this figure, and it's just a lightning bolt right there on the chest. Still has some overhang though, a little bit right there. But when you move the figure, it's soft enough that it does bend out of the way. And that's a good thing as well. If that was a hard piece right there, that wouldn't play very well. But it does move with the figure to get out of the way there. And then coming up to the face, I don't know. It's a passable likeness of The Rock. I think it looks better. I think it looks more like him from the sides than it does the front. I don't know. Maybe it's like the Mark Hamill with the Star Wars figures. Maybe it's hard to get the likeness of The Rock down. I'm not sure, but I definitely think this is one of the better live action adaptations that McFarlane has done, at least from the figures that I have. And admittedly, I don't have very many of the movie figures, but I think he did a really good job with that. Okay, I even like how there's a little bit of like veins on the head, that it's not just smooth, that there are features. Got that one right there too. There are features sculpted into the noggin of the Rock. Even get that fold of skin back here. I think they did a really good job. My only complaint is, and it's not even a complaint, it's a nitpick, are the eyes. Just like with Shazam, my issue with this are the eyes. Now, these definitely are very small, very pinched together. I don't know if they try to give him the people's eyebrow right there. Is that what he's doing with the eyebrow kicked up a little bit? I'm not sure. But also, is it just me, or is Rock's head really small on this figure? Because once again, bringing in the other Black Adam, see what I mean? Like, I feel like the Rock's noggin is really small. I shouldn't say really small, but smaller proportional wise than it should be. Kind of like that Detective Comic 1000 Batman. Now, speaking of his head, let's take a look at the articulation. That the Rock can do, I'm sorry, the Black Adam can do a full 360. He has some really good head tilt side to side. He can look up real well, which is great for a flying character. He can look down. He can look down, bury the chin. Rock just wants to keep looking at the camera. Okay, the arms will do a full 360. He has a really good butterfly joint in there. Arms will come up past 90. He has bicep swivel. Double jointed elbows with some really good travel. The wrists pivot. But here's something interesting, and I don't know why they did this. The wrists only come in and out, and you can see that piece of plastic It's not the standard wrists. You can see that piece of plastic that is the hinge point, and both of them are like that. That if you put the hand out, you can see that plastic bulging out right there. I'm really curious as to why. I hope the rest of the Justice Society figures aren't like that. I hope the rest of the figure line has the standard wrists. I know it's only one figure, but I really hope that doesn't mean McFarlane is going to this style of wrist and getting rid of his standard one. I would be really upset about that if he did. Now, there is a cut in the ab right here, as you saw when I was playing around with him. He can crunch forward a little bit. He can crunch forward much further. He can crunch back much further. You do get that gapping right in there. He can turn at that point, and man, does he have some really good, easy swivel right there. And there's a little bit of side to side. But then he also has a ball joint at the waist that the waist will twist. The waist will really crank back. The waist will go forward a little bit more. But then he also gets some really good side-to-side rock. But once again, you are getting some gapping when you go way too far. Now the legs, unfortunately, like the other Black Adam figure, like Shazam. Oh no, they come out. I must have loosened something up when I was playing around with him. Okay, never mind what I was going to say. He does have some decent movement in that hidden hip joint. Leg will come up to about there, but if you twist, you can bring it up further. You can even get it up past 90, but you can see how it also kind of kicks off to the side there. Double jointed knees with some really good travel. No boot cut, which is a shame because this would be a perfect way to hide the boot cut. Ankles rock way back. Ankles rock way forward. Forward facing pin for rocker. That with Shazam, you don't have the issue of the plastic of the boots coming down. And of course, he has toe articulation. Now, the only accessory he comes with other than his card and his stand is his throne. And quite frankly, this throne is why I bought the figure. And it's fantastic. I really like this. Once again, you have that aged paint going on. It really brings out the detail with that wash that's on it. You can see some really great sculpting down here along the bottom, like hieroglyphics. I don't know if those are supposed to be anything. I don't think so. I think it's just the design as well as the hieroglyphics in the rest of the throne right here that I don't think they actually say anything. I don't know. I can't read hieroglyphics, but I think those are just random I think those are just random designs that they put in the throne. But then you have the twin seahorses, I think. Yeah. The twin seahorses. Are they going to tie it to Atlantis? Who knows? But I think the throne looks really good. They even did weathering here on the sides. Now on the back, it's completely hollow. It's a big hollow piece of plastic. Okay. But I really like this as an accessory, and it's, like I said, the sole reason why I bought that figure. And you'll see in the photos, Black Adam looks pretty good in it too. I like that the throne and his costume, the body, the suit, the uniform, both have this like aged, ancient look to them. And I think that goes along well with the movie, that he's just coming out of his slumber, I think. He's just being revived. So things would be dirty, things would be rotted, things would be a little nasty. Whereas this version of Black Adam, he's been awake for a while. He's integrated into society. Heck, he's running his own country at this point. So I think that's the major differences of why this one is a little dank along with the throne. Black Adam doesn't come with any lightning effects, but he does come with his stand like all Multiverse figures, and once again we have the DC logo tampoed on the front. Black Adam has his collector's card, which we can see this is the same graphic that was on the back of the box, and flipping it over here, we have his bio that I don't think this is necessarily the bio of the actual comic figure. I think this is the bio for the movie character, which, as far as I can tell, there are slight differences in this backstory. And now for size comparison, here they are with more McFarlane DC Multiverse figures. Superman from Action Comics 1000, and the Black Adam that we've already been taking a look at. Black Adam from the Endless Winter wave. And they size up pretty well. I think this all looks good together. These two look good together, which was the thing I was most concerned about because they're both comic book versions. I want these two side by side. So those are going to look good together. And of course, Superman lines up very well with all of them. Here they are with Mattel Masterverse, New Eternia, He-Man, and Skeletor. Here they are with Lanyard Toys, City Hunter Predator, and Xenomorph Drone. Here they are with Jazzware's Spartan Collection, Master Chief, and Noble Six. And finally, here they are with Mattel's WWE, The Hurricane, and me from the Valaverse Action Force Steel Brigade. I am typically not a fan of buying figures based off of movies or TV shows, mainly because I don't like having figures with an actor's face sculpted onto it. And I think that's because that when I look at it, like take this Black Adam figure, for example, when I look at it, I feel like I have a figure of The Rock and not Black Adam. I like the body mold, I like the sculpt, I like the aging to his costume, I like the aging and the weathering done to his belt, his bracers, and his boots. But then when you come up to the face, it's basically just The Rock. And that, I don't know, that I don't get into that. That's one of the main reasons why I have yet to buy the Geralt figures from the Netflix series, and I'm using just the Geralt figures from The Witcher 3, just because I like that original look better. Just like with this Black Adam, I kind of like the face sculpt of the Endless Winter Black Adam better because it looks more comic book. He has hair, he has the widow's peak, he doesn't have the pointed ears, but I've also seen the Black Adam from the Page Punchers, which I haven't picked up yet, but I think that one might be my favorite one once I get that. Shazam, on the other hand, I love Shazam. The only issues I have with Shazam is that cape is really heavy, really weighs him back, and with the fluid almost to the point of loose articulation in the waist and in the ab cut, it really wants to tilt him back and it really wants to make him fall back. I don't know if you noticed when we were doing the size comparisons, I had to actually use the figure stand for Shazam so he could stand up straight rather than be hunched forward, and you could get a more accurate look at his size comparison and see that he is on par with Black Adam, both of them, and with Superman. Otherwise, having him hunched forward, he would have looked shorter. So that cape, as much as I love it, is a huge, heavy chunk of plastic. And I don't know at this point if I would prefer that McFarlane went with cloth goods capes, because I feel like they would just be like a single piece of cloth, and we wouldn't have all of the dynamics out of them. And I don't think Todd would do that anyway, because I think he likes being able to sculpt the capes in these dramatic poses. Truthfully, the main reason I bought the Black Adam figure was for the throne. I'm just going to come right down to it. I can use that throne for so many other things, and I don't know if I'm even going to put this version of Black Adam out on the shelf when I have the Endless Winter version, and then eventually when I have the Page Punchers version. What I do like better about the movie figure, though, is that lightning bolt. The lightning bolt doesn't have that big bib look that looks like he's about to eat at Red Lobster. I really like the sculpt of that. And I tried this. I didn't do it on camera, but I tried this. That trying to pop the heads off and do a head swap, the skin tones just don't match up, and the heads don't really pop off very easily. I was worried that I was going to break them a few times, so I don't think McFarlane's figures are made for head swapping. One thing that I'm hoping about these figures, though, is I'm really hoping that with Black Adam's wrists, that's not a sign that McFarlane is going to go to that type of wrist. Because truthfully, I can't think of another figure that I have from him that has just those in and out pivoting wrists. That it doesn't have the swivel, hinge, swivel wrists that all of his other figures do. And I hope that's not a sign of the times. I hope that's not a sign that things are going to be changing. And I hope that the rest of the Justice Society has his standard wrists with him. Now, here's something that'll probably be a bit of an unpopular opinion. I'm actually looking more forward to the Shazam sequel than I am the Black Adam movie. I don't know, like, when I saw the Black Adam trailer, I was interested in it. I was intrigued. I wouldn't say I was excited about it, but I'll probably go see it. I'll check it out, but I'm not having any expectations going into it. Now, when the Shazam sequel trailer dropped and it had Eminem playing over the whole trailer, introduce Oh, I got pumped for that. I was so ready for that. I'm actually looking forward to that one. So that's what we have to take a look at today. Tell me, what do you think of this figure versus the comic version of Black Adam, either the Page Puncher or the Endless Winter figure? Which movie are you more excited for, Shazam or Black Adam? I probably know which one most of you are going to be looking forward to. I'm probably the outlier, looking forward more to the Shazam sequel. But we have more coming down the line. We have so much more that I may not be able to get it all as much in as I wanted to this month, but I'm gonna try. So until then, my friends, play well, stay safe, stay healthy, and as always, thank you for watching.